But it is time now to reveal our Greatest Briton of 2022. Let's start the countdown. At number 10, fearless campaigner for women's rights, J.K. Rowling. The woke mob tried so many times to cancel her, but she just got braver. At 9, former Home Secretary Priti Patel, who launched the Rwanda scheme. And at 8, our amazing Lionesses, Euro champions, and they went an entire year unbeaten. At number 7, this might surprise some people, Liz Truss, the globalist wets in her own party and the MSM, assured she was never given a chance to become a great PM. Number 6, Bowel Babe, broke her heart, didn't it, when Dame Deborah James passed. And at number 5, she's taking on the job no one else wants. It's Superwoman Suella Braverman. Will she take us out of the ECHR in 2023? At number 4, someone who actually knows how to be a princess, our beloved Kate, who's gone from strength to strength. At number 3, the free speech champion Elon Musk, who shook up Twitter in 2022. And at number 2, he was ousted from number 10 in an anti-democratic, MSM-driven coup. But we all remember that hasta la vista baby promise. It's Boris Johnson. But there was no contest when it came to our Greatest Briton for 2022. Our greatest ever monarch, the late Queen Elizabeth II. Have a look.
It's the Queen. I mean, it could be the Queen every week. But just recently, because of sort of complicated COVID exposures via Prince Charles and possibly Camilla, she's been working from home and rapping that it's perfectly possible to do a good job from home.
Oh, what a terrible reason to nominate the Queen. She doesn't want to be working from home.
Her Majesty the Queen, God save the Queen, she recovered from the cold.
It's the Queen, obviously.
Yes, and it was great to see her smiling,
and she's
wasn't
better.
it?
Hooray!
Ooh, the Queen for her upcoming Vogue cover. It's amazing.
Oh, there she is. Look at that.
Oh, I love that.
To celebrate her jubilee.
She's had years and years of service to the country, and even if you're not a royalist, you'll have to admit that she's done a very good job of representing Britain in both at home and abroad.
God save the Queen.
There's only one competitor in this, and it is, of course, our great and glorious, wonderful Queen.
Perhaps you would like a marmalade sandwich. I always keep one for emergencies.
So do I. I keep mine in here. For later.
Of course, I've got to go for the star of the show, Her Majesty the Queen.
She was our greatest ever monarch. She was a constant in all of our lives. She was the most famous woman in the world, a religious leader, a beacon of morality, a true modernizer. But she was also a devoted wife, a beloved mum, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. And like so many of you, I felt a personal connection to the Queen. She represented the greatest generation, like my grandparents who fought in World War II. She represented the sort of selflessness that we don't see in public figures anymore. Truly the best of British. And we will meet again, Your Majesty, one day. And it, of course, was one of the biggest news stories that any of us will cover. We knew it was coming, but it didn't make the impact any less significant, Dawn Neesom.
No, it didn't. I'm surprised now, even watching it back, especially the Paddington thing. It always gets you, doesn't it? How emotional I feel. I'm not particularly a royalist, but it was just the fact that she did such an amazing job, and that duty over all those years, we'll never see that again. And it just feels like a little part of us. We've lost something that we'll never have again.
And Nigel, what's so interesting watching back those moments is, of course, we did have hope earlier in the year because through treatment she was bouncing back at intervals, you know, so we didn't see her for a long time, and then all of a sudden she was just around the corner from our studio opening the Elizabeth line because it was something she so wanted to do, and she was able to drag herself effectively from her deathbed in order to do that. It was quite extraordinary.
And she looked great when she was with Paddington Bear during the Jubilee. I mean, that she looked really healthy, she looked fantastic. So when it happened, it wasn't so much a surprise, but it was a tremendous shock. And here's somebody, she reigned longer than any of us have been alive, and it's absolutely right, she is the greatest Briton.
She is. I mean, she's not just the greatest Briton of 2022. For me, Dominique, certainly during my lifetime, obviously I wasn't alive when Winston Churchill, for example, was on Earth, but she's the greatest Briton that's ever existed at the same time as me on this planet.
Yeah, and I think with her death, it does mark the end of an era in this country, and not to be negative, but I think, sadly, I'm not sure if the legacy that she left behind is going to be continued with King Charles. I mean, my scepticism has really increased, I'm afraid.
Well, the thing is, it's the end of the greatest generation.
Yeah.
That's what I think the Queen's death marked. And the thing about the greatest generation is they always put service ahead of self. And let's be honest, the generations that followed have not done that. So she was someone for us to look up to. She was someone for us to look up to. But look, there you go. There you go. It's been a sad year in a lot of ways, hasn't it?
It has, but I think we've all got good memories of a remarkable woman, and I think that's what we take. And the fact that she did that, she achieved that, I think that is worth everything.
And we were privileged to live through that period.
Absolutely,
we will.
Yeah.
The second Elizabethan age. I'm so proud to say that I lived through it.